All right, y'all. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody in the room. So I put together this presentation that I do called winning the day as a real estate agent. I have this thing that I always talk about in my business, and it's winning the day by noon. How that came about is I have been able to put my schedule together to where all of the major components that need to be done in my business are pretty much done by noon. So that means that after 12 o'clock, if I wanted to go home, I can go home because I did everything that I need to do. This is based on the 80-20 principle. Is everybody familiar with the 80-20 principle? Okay, perfect. So, how I came about it was one, I had to get clarity. And I'm gonna talk about how I got that clarity, right? I had to learn what my top producing activity was. I had to get leverage at the same time. The schedule that I have is what it looks like in a perfect day. Now, I don't always get to follow the schedule exactly how it needs to be. Because let's say tomorrow I wake up and I don't really feel like doing anything. Because we all know that we have those days. Sometimes real estate just kicks our butt, right? And we need some time to ourselves. However, when I'm getting back on track, I know exactly what to do, right? So whenever I am talking about a class, I don't like to tell people this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do as a real estate agent because there's so many different ways to do real estate. And none of it has to be a certain way. It's just whatever works for you. So I like to share with people what has worked for me and break it down in the most simplest form and make it sound really obtainable if it's anything that somebody wants to adapt or to do. So for me, I feel like one of my superpowers is when I'm talking about something, I make it sound really simple. Not like somebody reading from a book that just sounds like, oh, well, he can do that. I can't do that. Because I'm telling you right now, anything that I have done in my business, anybody can do it. I have not always been, top real estate agent in the Southeast and things like that. There's a lot of things that I've gone through in my life that prepared me for where I'm at now in life. And with those things that I went through in life, not many people make it from. So that's how I know it's very possible for anybody to do this. So without further ado, I'm going to start on this presentation. Now, my class is very interactive. So therefore, at any given time that you have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand and ask the question then. Because the better questions that you have, the better that the class is. And I also like to be on the topic of what we're talking about instead of having to go back and like, let me get back to that. Go ahead and ask it right then because you might trigger somebody else in the room to be able to ask a question based on that. So super interactive. And let me see if I got the clicker right. So let's start off with numbers, right? Everybody likes to see numbers, right? I got my license in September of 2019. And when I got my license, within just 2 weeks, they were telling me about this thing called Bold. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I think that's where I met you at, right? And I think did a couple Bolds together, right? Yeah, because I remember one we were in the room, one we sat at the same table. And so I went ahead and took Bold right then. That helped shape my life and give me momentum to push and get my business where it's at now. I do Bold every single year. And when I first started, it was to learn about the business and it put me in position to learn the strategies and certain things to do to be able to, get leads and just start moving to close deals. Because of that, after I got Bold in September, January, my first deals, I had them back to back, right? My first two deals in real estate ever. And now when I take Bold, I don't take Bold to learn how to sell more houses. I take Bold to find things in that class that are going to help me be a better person. I'm just looking for one thing, right? Because me being a better person, as a result, I'm going to sell more houses. Me being a better person, I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better husband. And the other things around me are going to be the results of that. The other things around me are going to come up as well, right? So that is why I take Bold now. So my first year, I do 12 transactions, 2.5 million in volume, 78,000 in GCI, right? 2021, you see the jump, 29 transactions, 6.9 million, 162,000 in GCI. During this time, I am working nights, I'm working weekends, I'm coming home to dinner late sometimes. If I make it to dinner, I'm up at 11 o'clock working on contracts and doing all these things. If you call me on Thanksgiving and I got the time, I'm going to show you a house because I feel like my competition is not out there. So let me go ahead and make this happen, right? However, there was a life that I saw several times and heard about it from several people that I wanted to adapt eventually because I was like, this isn't it for me. Like, I got into real estate because I want to make a lot of money, help people, and also work for myself, right? When I was working like this, it was like, yes, I was working for myself, but I still had the hustler mentality to where my business, I was an entrepreneur before I did real estate. I was an independent hip hop artist. I sold cars overseas. So I flipped cars. I had a clothing line. I had a recording studio. And I also had a mobile hookah business. I've always been a hustler. I probably only had maybe 3 jobs in my entire life. I promise you. I did Joe's to Go's, Pizza Hut, and maybe a call center. That was it. Right. So I'm working and I'm just like, this isn't the move, right? I just I have 3 kids. I'm married with 3 kids. My son at the time was born in 2019, and I used to bring him to the office. He was born in August of 2019, and for me, my big why is my family. This is my first time raising a child from the ground up. I have an oldest daughter. She's 12 years old. I've been in life since she was 3, but I never had her when she was a baby. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to figure something out. My business still going up. Now I'm doing 38 units, 9.5 million, 189,000 in GCI. However, I started to slowly not work nights and weekends. I started to get leverage. I use showing assistants. I do not show houses at all, right? I use showing assistants for that. And then I started to get a transaction coordinator. What happened was in the first quarter of this year, I did 20 transactions, right? And I did every single transaction from beginning to end. I did the contracts, I did the marketing, everything that you see my business that it does now, I did that myself. My team leader said to me, you cannot keep going on like this. You're going to crash out. You're going to burn out. You cannot keep this up. I've seen it too many times. I'm telling you, stop doing this. So I went and got a transaction coordinator. So when I get my transaction coordinator, we're going through. She's just handling my transaction. Towards the end of the year is when I hired my virtual assistant to help me in my business. Well, at this time, do you guys remember what happened in the last quarter of 2022? Were you guys in real estate last quarter of 2022? Okay, the interest rates went crazy, right? People's deals were just falling apart, right? Now, beginning of the year, and Keller Williams, I don't, and if you guys were there, I don't know if you remember, there's a lot of talk where they're saying something's going to change, something's going to happen. You guys need to be saving your money. You need to be saving your money, then prepare for something that's going to change. Didn't know what it was, but I listened. I saved my money. All the deals fell apart. I was okay. From what happened in the beginning of the year to then, I saved my money. I was okay, so I was able to work through it. I look at everything as a glass half full, not half empty, right? So because of that, I found the opportunity in me having a slow period to be able to train my assistant, right? And so when when people get an assistant, what I see happens a lot, right? For some people, is they'll get an assistant, then they fire the assistant. They get the assistant and they fire the assistant. And whenever that happens, typically what that tells me is it's not an assistant problem, it's probably a you problem, right? And your assistant is supposed to, and it's not for everybody, but they're supposed to work up to the level that you train them up to. Whenever I work with my assistant, if something happens, I take first blame. And I say, did I prepare you for what's going on right now, this situation? And if I did, then all right, talk me through your thought process and how you arrived at this answer or what happened so we can figure it out together. Right? I don't just say, oh, why you didn't do this, why you didn't do that. Because I might not have trained her for that. And if I didn't, then I said, all right, well, let's talk about what happens in this situation so you can know how it goes. So for next time you can be better prepared. Right? So get my assistant, stop working nights and weekends, hired my virtual assistant. I started creating these systems and these processes. So now 2023 comes, I'm not working nights and weekends, right? At the end of that quarter, 2022, I was done working nights and weekends. 2023 comes, and I retired my wife from her job at the age of 34. On It says April 30th. That's a typo. It was March 30th, 2023. I retired my wife from her job, where no longer she has to work for the man. Period. Now my wife helps me flip houses on the side. I became an investor. I started buying properties, and now she manages the properties, right? So I also started an acquisition company because I am an investor and I also work in acquisition. And so I actually have two acquisition companies now, but at this time I started an acquisition company. I hired several employees, and I was doing that and doing my real estate, still not working nights and weekends. I had all these processes and these systems. Now, when I say that I don't work nights and weekends, I want you guys to understand this. It's not that I just like I don't have to do anything at all. It's just that during that time, my family takes precedence over everything else. So during the consultations that I have with my clients, I let them know this. A lot of people think that when you say this, like how do you keep your clients? Like how are they gonna work with you? You don't work nights and weekends. I work nights and weekends. It's clarity. When I talk to my clients during the consultations, I set the expectation. I let them know my biggest why is my family. And while I'm working at my office hours between 9 to 5, I am dedicated on you and giving you all of my time. When I get home, I'm giving them all of my time. So it's not that I'm not available. It's just that there might be a delay in my response. Or if you call me, I might have to send you a text and say, hey, let me call you back in a couple of minutes. Or when you call me, you might hear children in the background. If it's an emergency, that's not a problem. I'm gonna step out and we're gonna make it happen. If it's not an emergency, I'll get back to you and address it accordingly. But you're still gonna get the level of service that you need. Now, when I talk about not showing houses in my consultation, I tell my clients I am not a professional door opener. And also, I want to make sure that you get the service that you deserve. So therefore, if I am busy doing something, I have leverage pieces as part of my team to make sure that you get the service that you need at the time that you need it. Give me 30 minutes to an hour before you need to see a house, and I will have one of my assistants show you the house. Once you go into contract, then I will come to the house and I will look at it and put my eyes on it to make sure that there's nothing that's missed. Because if you're not getting your house under contract, what's the point if I saw it or not? If they don't even accept your offer, or you're not even putting an offer. So, and then I explained to them, I use the analogy of, or metaphor, however it goes. I was like, do you shop at Walmart? Everybody's like, yeah, I shop at Walmart. I was like, have you ever met the owner of Walmart at the cash register? Yet you still shop at Walmart, right? So I explain my team what their involvement is and my responsibilities. I negotiate deals. I get deals to the closing table, and I make sure that you get the best possible service possible, and that nothing's overlooked, and make sure you're in good hands. And they respect it because somebody who takes care of their family, they respect that because they know that somebody's going to take care of them. And now when I get a phone call that's after 5 o'clock, you know what my clients say typically if they do call me at that time? The first thing I usually hear is, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize what time it was. Do I need to call you back?" Agents the same. Agents know this about me. If they talk about me, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's that guy who doesn't work nights and weekends and he's all about his family." Because what I'm telling you guys my value is, what I value, I actually show it too. I show it in my actions. I show it when I share things online. This is what's important to me. So agents do the same thing. Like, hey, you need to call me back. I realize I know you're probably doing dinner or you're doing bath time or whatever, and they respect my time. But I set the expectation during the consultations and with the people that I deal with, right? So we during this. So now you guys look at the number over here. You see 38 units, but then you go and see 32 units, 7.5 million, 178,000, 189,000, 9.5 million. So in 2023, if you did the same thing you did in 2022, then you're winning because of the market share and how the real estate business was, right? So, but also, I made another 70K in profit off the properties that we bought and sold, right?
Right.
Yes.
So when you said that you and did say that you were saving, how did you know at what point your savings would sustain you starting a business and flipping homes?
So I already had the money to be able to do it, right? It was just about getting the pieces together. I actually came about my mentor who mentors me in flipping houses. And what happened was I met him through another real estate agent, which was his brother-in-law that was a real estate agent in our office. Well, I was already working with investors. At this time, I was working with a lot of hedge funds. So yes, I was that problem where, the investors were buying up all the properties. I was one of the people selling the properties. I would go online and go to for sale by owners. And during team meeting, I would sit right here and I would go on Zillow and go to for sale by owners. And I would go to everyone that I could find that kind of fit their parameters and send them a message, say, would you be interested in a cash offer? They said yes. I would send that property to the hedge funds, and they would have an offer for me by the end of that day, or the next day, and then I would go into listing appointments with the FISBOs with a cash offer in hand. As I was moving in that space, I started to meet with other investors. I started going online and Facebook groups and seeing people who had off market properties or whatever, right? And that how I started building up my database with investors. And then that's how I came about that investor, because they knew that I dealt with off market properties and they wanted to start buying off market properties from me. And then he liked the work that I did and decided, he was like, hey, would you be interested in getting into my group? It costs this much. And I was like to myself, hell no, I'm not going to pay that much. It's $20,000. I was like, I'm not going to pay no $20,000. Like, but what I am going to do, and I said this, I said, I'm going to work so hard to where they're gonna want to do some business with me to where we're of value to each other. So maybe, and I was thinking, well, maybe it ain't gonna be 20,000. How about this? I'm gonna do this for you, and it's gonna be 10,000 for me, because you're not just helping me, I'm helping you. That next year, 2023, he gave me a call and said, I want to speak with you about something. Came to my office and he was like, I want to know if you'd be interested in coming to my group for free. And I'm gonna show you how to flip houses for free. Only thing I ask you to do is this: whatever properties that you get, send it to us first so we could buy them. Let us be first priority. And I'll show you how to do this for free. As a result of that, I'm now the real estate agent for that whole entire investment group. And I'm helping them buy 3 to 5 homes every single month, and I'm selling 3 to 5 homes of theirs every single month since 2023. And it becomes more and it's more. Now I'm the investor for the hard money lender. Who's our hard money lender? Now I'm his real estate agent. Where they get a property, an REO property that they had to foreclose on, they're giving that to me. Our investment group was doing so well that we're outperforming all the other investors by 10 to 15%, that our hard money lender joined our investment group. Our electrician who does all the work, because we got about like 5 contracting companies for our investment group that strictly work for us because we're doing so many houses. The electrician's part of the investment group. The plumber's part of the investment group. The roofer's part of the investment group. The contractors who work in the house are now part of the investment group as well. Yeah, it's getting there, right? It's getting there. So um, now I'm not working nights and weekends. 2023. I just wanted to tell you guys, at this point in time, I've worked less hours than I ever worked in my business, and my business improved. This was at this point in time, this was the best year that I had, right? And 2024, I had my last child, my daughter Millie. She was born April 29th. And at this time, my virtual assistant was working part time. A week before I had my daughter, I said I'm going to hire her full time, right? Because I'm about to have another child and I want to make sure that I can still spend the time that I need to with my family. So I want to make sure I hire her full time. Hire her full time. I took 6 weeks off of work. Do you know within those 6 weeks off of work? And I tell you, I'm the type of guy, I go to the office every day, Monday through Friday, between 9 and about 3:30, 4 o'clock is when I start wrapping it up to head to the house. I took 6 weeks off and I did not show up to the office at all. Within those 6 weeks, still to this day, for that closing was for those closings I had was one of the best months I've had. It was the first time I ever made top 20 in GCI in the entire Southeast. As an individual agent who doesn't work nights and weekends, I took 6 weeks off of work because of the systems and the processes that I have. And I'm going to get into these systems and these processes with you guys. Another thing I'm going to talk about is my daily schedule, and I'm going to get into that as well. So, um, no, this is when we started no, this is when we started the company, and we had the 3 employees. Yeah, during this time, bought some more properties, sold those as well. Less hours I ever worked in real estate. Then 2025, last year, 57 units. This number isn't right. It was like 17 point something million in volume. I did 511,000 in GCI, and it's still just me, one full-time virtual assistant. And I'm telling you, last year I worked less hours than I've ever worked in my entire life. And the thing about life that I've realized that a lot of people, show. I look at life like this evaluation, this equation that people show. It's time with like work, and it's an equal sign, and it's money. So it's like more time, right, at work, more hours at work, equal sign, more money, right? And it don't have to be like that. It don't have to be like that. How do you buy back your time? I cannot. I can make an extra $100,000 plus every single year in my business, hands down. But it would cost me time with my family. And I don't put a dollar amount over the time I get to spend with my family. My kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna say, my dad was at every practice, every game, every dinner, every birthday, every field trip, every everything, every school event. My dad was there for every one of it. They're gonna remember that. My kids can't eat money. They don't even really know money. They get what they want. They whatever they have, they need it. They don't know nothing about that, right? But what they do know is about that time. That I'm there for that, and I live this life like this to where now I see like my little son holding me accountable. Where I'm not telling him to hold me accountable or what I do, but they know that I spend this time with him. So if we go throw that football, and my phone ring, and I do like this, that boy will hold that ball like this. Hey, Dad, what's up? I was like, oh snap! And when he did that to me, I was like, that was crazy because I never told him these type of things. I know he hears conversations, maybe sometimes here and there, how like I value my time, with my family, stuff like that, right? But I never said nothing to him. And then when he did that to me that first time, I was like, oh, snap. He's like, hey, Dad, we're throwing the ball. I was like, I'm going to call you back, man. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? But because it means something to him. Just like it means something to me, it means something to him. And so this right here is an example of knowing that having the 80-20 principle, following the schedule that I do every single day. So this is my family. That's my wife, Kelly, my son, Jackson, my little daughter, Millie, my oldest daughter, Layla. Millie is a Georgia fan, as you can see. And that's my family. That's my big why. So there's no sense to me making all this type of money and accomplishing all these goals if I can't share that and reciprocate that with my family. So I'm gonna I'm gonna get into my morning routine. Right, I broke down my schedule to put in the time slots to show you guys how my schedule works. So bold 2000 in October 2022. I take bold again. Right, when I'm taking bold this time, the one thing that sticks out to me in bold was a daily schedule, a daily routine. Right? This is what I was like, this is what I'm gonna implement. Another thing that stuck out to me is these affirmations, what I adapted. So I'm actually gonna share with you guys my affirmations that I do on a daily every single day since October of 2022. Mind you, this morning routine that I was doing, this all happens while I am waking up, making my bed, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, and getting dressed. I was doing this for a year, and my wife was right next to me. And she had no idea that I was doing this. And so I was having a conversation with somebody. She was like, "You do that every day?" I was like, "I've been doing it every day because I'm just silent. Like I'm not talking or anything like that. Or like, say she said something to me, I could pause my prayer or whatever's in my head and answer her, and I'm just going right back to doing my regular routine. So it doesn't take away time for me having to do this. But let me share with you the affirmations that I've adapted and added stuff over the years to where my affirmations are now. So when I get to my affirmation part, is how it goes. I say, today's going to be a good day. Today, good things are going to happen to me. Today, opportunities are going to come my way, and I'm going to create opportunities. Today, doors are going to open for me, and I'm going to open doors. Today, I'm going to be a good father, a good husband, a good follower of Christ. Today, I'm going to let the light of Jesus shine through me. Today, I'm going to trust in God in all my decisions. Today, I'm going to be of more value to others than they are to me, and I'm going to be okay with it. Today, I'm going to overcome any obstacle that comes my way. I'm going to accomplish my goals. Today, I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be humble. Today, I'm going to get more buyers. Today, I'm going to get more listings. Today, I'm going to make decisions that's going to affect my family's future in a positive way. Today, I'm going to look at the glass half full and not half empty. Today, I'm going to be positive and do away with all negativity. Today, I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be. Let's get it. I say that every single day. Now I have my kids saying affirmations, right? So, and this just started the beginning of this year. No, it's what is it? It's April. It started a little bit last year. Where now, so every morning I walk my son to the bus stop, and I had my son start doing affirmations. And so now, as soon as we get outside and we hit the pavement, I said, "Let me get him," and he already knows. And he starts doing his affirmations. And so that's going to be something that he's going to carry on with him for the rest of his life. He's going to remember these affirmations I did with my dad. Like I remember the first time I introduced it to him. This is what happened. He's playing baseball. I said, "Son," I was like, "You want to get that game ball?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Speaking to existence. Say you're going to get the game ball. Say you're going to get the game ball. Believe you're going to get the game ball." So he in the car. "I'm going to get the game ball today. Today I'm going to get the game ball. Today I'm going to get the game ball. Today I'm going to get the game ball. Game ball." Got back in the car and said, "Son, you know you got that game ball, right?" He said, "Yeah, Dad, because I said it." I said, "Yeah, son. That's what affirmations is. You got to believe it. Even when you don't believe it, just say it until you believe it. Fake it until you make it." I'm sorry. But that was, important for me to be able to have my son carry that with him. So, all right, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is grab my phone. Why I grab my phone? Just to make sure that I'm on time. I don't use an alarm clock that much. Sometimes I do, but my body typically wakes up, like if I start waking up at 6:30 for a week, my body's gonna start waking up at 6:29, 6:28, 6:31, 6:32. So I'm just making sure to see what time it is, and then I look at the weather to figure out what I'm gonna wear for the day. Then I put my phone down. Then immediately I go into gratitude. I start naming all the things that I'm thankful for. It can be, it's always the family, but there's sometimes it's just things like I'm thankful to be able to walk, to be able to see, to be able to hear, from my health. I'm thankful for the water coming out the shower. I'm thankful for the meal that I had last night. It can be simple, but I'm starting off with gratitude. Because when I start my day off with gratitude, it puts me in a different place. And sometimes it allows me to remember I have more than I think that I do. Because at times we feel like we maybe don't have enough. But when you start naming and being and having gratitude for this thing that you actually are thankful for, but you forgot, it does something to you. Like, you know what? I got more than I thought I did. So then after that, I go into my prayers. Then after I do my prayers, I go into my positive affirmations. And usually I'm done with my positive affirmations around 7:30. That's when I'm pretty much walking downstairs to go and spend a little bit of time with my kids before they go to school. And my two oldest will already be downstairs already. Routine's important. Like my son is 6 years old. Since my son was 4 years old, since he started pre-K, his job in the morning is to, without me, this is what he does. He wakes up to his alarm clock, he turns his alarm clock off. He goes and he makes his bed. He goes and brushes his teeth, he goes and washes his face, and his clothes are already laid out, and he goes and gets dressed. He's not allowed to talk to me until he does all those. Don't say nothing to me. Don't come to my room. Don't say nothing until these things are done. This is your morning routine that you're going to take on with you for the rest of your life. Whether you like it or not, brother, this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I am about to be 41 years old, and this is what I have to do every day. And I have my daughter been doing the same thing since pre-K. And I also let him know this is his time where, hey, maybe maybe you start a little slow. So I started waking him up early. So it's like you don't have, I set his alarm clock early so he don't have to rush to do it. If you're a little groggy that morning, okay, take your time to do it. You might get downstairs at this time or you might get downstairs this time, but you have the time to do it. You can just think to yourself, whatever it is. So he used that time. That's what he does. My daughter, she been doing this. So now here go the schedule. Everybody here, well, who here is on the pivot shift call? So I am sometimes too. Well, I do it a lot, but these days I'm catching the recording because of the time that I take my son on the bus. He gets on the bus at about 8:03, and by that time, I'm walking back because I don't like to do. I can't do the 7:30 call because I'm right there around my kid. I can't have work going on, and then I can't do the call. Like I started to have the call on my shoulder while I was walking and listening to a speakerphone, but that takes away from any little chat that I might have with my son before he goes to school. So I'm hopping on at 8:05. Sometimes I'm like, man, I need to run in the house and grab something real quick. It's too much missed in between, so now I just listen to the recording on the way back. However, I believe that for the longest time, I've been on the pivot shift call every single day, consistently. And I'm still on there consistent, but the recording is what I'm listening to. I look at the pivot shift call like my training. Professional athletes who are the number one players in their position for only a certain amount of people, because there's only so many teams, You know what they get paid to do? They get paid to train. If you know a professional athlete schedule, their schedule is training a couple times a day, eating the meal plan. That's part of their training, their schedule that they have to do, and then they go play the game. So, as a professional, what I'm doing, I feel is very important for me to always be training, so I can be the best that I can be for my clients, right? So, 8 o'clock is when I do the call, right? Well, 8 o'clock is when the call starts. I'm doing the recording more from 8:20 to 8:40 type of thing, right? I'm hopping in the car. Okay, role playing script practice. I was doing that for a very, 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 very long time. It's still on my schedule because of this presentation, and I also want to show people that this is a good thing to do if you haven't done this. But I've been doing script practice for a long time. I have not been doing it that much lately at all. Right, so I actually take this time where I've been doing that role and script play practice, and I call a couple of my friends. So I got a lot of friends, right? But I have two friends that I have been with since almost day one. And these are not yes men. These are really, really, really close friends. And we have really great, powerful conversations. They're both dads, they're both husbands. And sometimes it's just what I need to get my day started before I go in to do whatever we do. And so I use that time and I talk to my homies. That's my release, right? Um, then I get into office at 9 o'clock. When I get into office, I start my calendar with my assistant. I might have sent her notes from the night before in Hangouts to say, hey, tomorrow this, wherever we got this and that. When I get on there, I was like, all right, what's my task for the day? Go over the tasks that I sent you. What questions do you have? What appointments do I have? What we looking like? We'll go over that. That don't take that long. I'm done with that. It's about 9:20. Sometimes I'm done before that. Then I go into the emails and the phone calls. These are the emails and the phone calls to lenders, to attorneys, to my clients. If there's a conversation that I need to carry on from the evening before because it wasn't an emergency, and I'll call you tomorrow. This is when I make that call. And also, this is when I respond to those emails that I need to respond to that may not have got my attention from the day before, or it's just today's the day where I got to send this email. After I do that, I do my 555. Does everybody know what a 555 is? I'm going to get to that too. So 555 is 5 comments, 5 likes, and 5 personal messages on social media. The reason why I do that is because it messes with the algorithm. When you do these things, people start seeing your feed. Like my feed on social media, you're not going to see nothing about no politics. Only way you'll see that is if one of my friends decides to make a comment about that doesn't maybe do it all the time, because I don't like nothing ratchet. I don't like nothing crazy. Because now, because I don't do those things, my feed doesn't have those things. If you go on my feed, it's a lot of positive affirmation, positive people, wealth building, things like that, right? So when I mess with the algorithm, when I mess with the algorithm, it allows my page to post up on people's page. Why is that important for me? Is because I don't get a lot of likes and comments on the post that I make. I can actually care less. I don't click on the thing to see who liked it. I probably don't even know where that button is to see their name. I just remember that used to be a feature, right? I don't check. I do now be intentional about going in the comments, at least putting a heart or a thank you, right? However, what is important to me is that I will randomly get calls where someone's like, hey, how you been? I've been seeing you kill it online. You've been selling that real estate. And I always knew that when it was my time to buy or to sell, I was gonna call you. So now I want to do something. Can we set up a time to talk? It's because they're getting to see that. So I also make it a thing to make sure that I share my stories of transactions, under contracts, closed, listings, real estate tips, whatever it is, I share on social media so they can make sure they see that I'm not a secret agent. If I had nothing to post, I'm gonna go take a post. I'm gonna go to what's it called? Keeping up with current matters, whatever it is. I want to make sure I'm posting stuff so they know that I'm a real estate expert and I'm somebody you need to talk to. And I don't even know if these people like my stuff, comment my stuff. I'm pretty. I don't think they do. I definitely know this because I do have to say thank you and put hearts on the comments. I don't never see some of their comments. I've never seen their comments. I've never seen them comment on something. Didn't even know they still follow me. Didn't even know they looked at my page. Didn't even know if they're on Facebook. But I know that they're calling me. They're sending me messages on Facebook and they're hitting my line. So that's why I do the 555. You can do. Go ahead. Comments, likes, and personal messages. The personal messages specifically, those are really good. And it could just be a video you say, hey, just seeing how you doing today. It's harder for me to keep conversation, like to ask somebody in a personal message, hey, how you doing? Because I don't, if you guys send me a personal message on Facebook, I apologize in advance. I might not respond for a week or two. I might not even get a chance to respond. I don't go on there. That's not where I communicate for real, for real. Just every once in a blue, I go check it. And I'm like, oh snap. What's okay, let me respond back to this person. Right. But so having a conversation, a personal message, like how you been, how's the family, you gotta wait for a response to respond back, then wait for a response to respond back, and it takes too long. So I try to get them quickly out of there and say, hey, call my phone. Let's go ahead and set up time to talk. Now, you can do it on all of them. You should do it on all of them. I only do it on Facebook, right? So because I know you guys see me on social media, right? However, if you do see me on social media, 8 out of 10 of those are my assistant putting posts, right? Even sometimes when you see my family, like that straight up. To be like, I'll get on social media, I'll get my little scroll on and stuff like that, but like, I don't even really care like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't even really care like that. But I know it's important to my business. So because of that, I created something called a content calendar that I'm going to share with you guys as well, because I know how important it is. So now, after these things happen, I go into something at 10 o'clock. No, from 9:50 to 10 o'clock, I'm working on small tasks. My small task might be something that came from the emails or the phone calls that I made, or maybe sending my assistant like, hey, based on this, these things need to be completed today, whatever it may be, right? Then so that way, and I'm doing all of this so I can gear up for this part right here. Because these are one of the most important things. This is what brings business to me. And that's me doing my lead gen. My lead gen is from 10:30 to 12:30 on a perfect day. Sometimes it might only last an hour. If I got on and I made 5 calls and 2 of those calls ended up turning appointments, when I show you my 401, you'll see why. I could be done with lead gen if I want to. I don't have to necessarily keep going on lead gen. You see this green box on my follow-up calls right here? I'm gonna show you guys what that is in a little bit. This is my own DTD2. I still do DTD2. My assistant goes for whatever the week is, and she's gonna put the letter like I and Q. She's gonna put the letter in the box. So when I open up my calendar, that lets me know I can go to my command, put in the filter DTD2IQ, and it's gonna have all of those names on there. I do this thing called TNS. It's task, notes, and smart plan. Every single conversation that I have during the day while I'm working must have a task, a note, and a smart plan, right? Task is when I'm going to call them, it's a minimum 90 days because a part of my 36 touch is, and for folks who may not understand or know the 36 touch, they say that statistically, if you can touch somebody 36 times in a year, when it comes to real estate, they're going to think of you. 36 touch is something that they don't even realize they're getting touched 36 times. That's one email every single month, one bi-weekly email every single month. That's a birthday for the year. That's every single holiday, Martin Luther King Day, Easter, 4th of July. Then they get one quarterly call, one quarterly text. So at a minimum, whoever I talk to, I got to call them back in 90 days. Then I take notes on the conversation that I'm having with them. In the notes, I'm gonna put when I talk to them, what we talked about, and I might even put what do I need to say the next time that we talk based on this conversation of the notes. The reason why I do that, people do business with people that they like, they love, and they trust. If Q, you bought that shirt at a store down the street, 2 months later, you go to that store like, Q, what's going on? Hey, how was that shirt you bought, man? Did it fit the way you want? I know you was wearing it to your brother's birthday party. How was that? You be like, damn. You just say you like me. You remember little me? You know what I'm saying? You're like, you're gonna feel important, feel special, you want to do business with them. So, and it's not that I can't. It's not that I can't remember or I don't care, because I typically a lot of times remember the conversation. It's just that I care so much that I want to make sure let them know that I value their conversation that I had with them. If you ever go to a dentist and you'll notice in the chair the technician, you might have a different technician from last time, but they're gonna say something like, "How was that vacation?" or whatever it was. They're reading notes off the screen. They do this because they know what it means. So In my conversation, I'm taking notes on the conversation, what we talked about, and possibly what do I need to mention next time we talk. Like I might say, ask them about that birthday, ask them about the date night they said they were having with their family. Then smart plan. Everybody has to go to a smart plan. If they're already on a smart plan, cool. Is there another smart plan that we created that we can add them to? Then let's do that. However, every single person I talked to during the day, task, note, and smart plan. Before I was doing the command, I used to have a sheet in my office next to the phone or my desk, and it was I call it the call sheet. It had the person's name, it had their phone number, their email, and then I had like certain questions that I would ask to update my contact information to strengthen my contact information. So if I don't have these answers already in command, then I'm asking them like, where's their job? Um, what's their birthday if I don't already have it? And then I would put notes. So what I did with the client notes and everything, I put it off to the side. And on Friday, I used to work on my business instead of in my business. And that's when I would go take that call sheet and I would go, because I didn't have an assistant at the time. And I would go load the call sheet. I would take it and load everything in the command, put all the information in there. So that way I was able to go through the calls and not have to stop and go load up the information and all that stuff. Right. So now after I do my DTD2, I'm having these phone calls. My conversation that I have with people on a regular day, I do not talk about real estate. I don't mention real estate unless intentionally at the end of the conversation where I'll say, hey, just I might say something along the lines of this. Hey, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you ever come across anybody who's looking to buy or sell in real estate, will you please think of me? And if you do come across somebody, will you just connect us in a three-way text message? Might say something simple like that, right? But I'm never pushy about it because what happens is what I realize is when I'm having conversations with people, a two-way conversation, somebody's gonna say, "Hey, I'm asking them, hey, how you doing? Oh man, I'm doing good, man. Just da da da. How about you?" That is my time for me to mention real estate, but without in a salesy way. I'm like, man, just working on this real estate contract. Trying to get through this paperwork, man, trying to get this client to the closing table. Real estate. But and besides that, I mean, everything's good. I just mentioned real estate. You see what I'm saying? But I didn't mention like you want to buy or sell. They know what time it is, and that triggers in. They be like, you know what, man? I had a question, man, about the market. What you think about what I saw on the news? Or man, my sister just we're kicking off conversation right there. Or we just talk about life, and then at the end, I'll just mention if you come across anybody looking to buy or sell, just think of me, right? People who already know I don't got to say that they know what time it is, especially when it's my past clients. I'm just talking to them, make sure they're good, asking them, and I still use the Ford method. For anybody who doesn't know what the Ford method is, I learned that in bold. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. This is a guide to have a conversation. I still use that as a guide to have a conversation if I don't have anything to talk about. I talk a little about, ask about the family, ask a little bit about their work, how's work, recreation. You guys got any plans for the summer? Anything that you guys got big planned for this year? Then I can talk about the dreams. Is there any goals that you have that I need to be aware about? Because I come across a lot of people every single day, and I have these conversations with people. And if I come across somebody that I know that can help you and be a resource to you, I want to make sure that I know about it so I can connect you as well. I'm asking about that. I'm figuring out how to provide value with that. Some and one thing about the DTD2 is it was created so it's not call bias. And let me tell you something, guys, about why that was powerful to me and why when I do my DTD2, I do not skip anything. There was several couple years ago. Couple years ago, I had a call. I was doing my DTD2. I was at home at the time. I called up somebody on the list. I was actually about to skip them, and then I go, man, this joker ain't talking about nothing. I know he ain't finna buy no house. He ain't finna sell no house. Like, why am I even gonna call him? And I was like, you know what? Just call him. I call him. Rodney? Yeah, what's going on, Taylor? Hey man, man, just chilling. Like you just gave me a call at the blue. I was like, well, actually, I was like, I'm a real estate agent, and my company showed me this thing where, we have a letter every single week, and then we call the letter to just call people and check on them because, and I thought it was a pretty cool system because, as we get older and time go by, a lot of time passes and we don't get to talk to people and get to check on them. So when they created this system, I thought it was pretty cool. And so you're actually on my list today to give you a call. I don't want nothing. I'm just calling to say what's up, check on you, see if there's any resources or I can be of value to you. That's all. And he was like, man, you sure? I was like, yeah. I'm like, man, what the hell going on? Cause he's like, it's funny you called me today. And now I'm like, oh man, cause we used to hang out at the same bars and stuff like that. So and we went to school together too. So I'm thinking, man, something happened. I'm looking on Facebook real quick, type his name to see like Maybe something happened. He think I know about it. So he like, because the way he said it is like, it's just funny you call me today though. Like today. And I was like, bro, I'm like, bro, what's going on? So I don't see nothing. And then I'm asking him how he doing. He's doing pretty shitty. Excuse my French. He's not doing good. He's dealing with substance abuse. He lost his job. He's feeling lost. He down in the dumps. I get to talking to him about like, man, I go to this church that I've started going to, XYZ time ago, man. It's done a lot for me. I've done some I've done some groups and stuff, some men's groups and everything. I was like, and then I started explaining to him about I talked to him about my morning routine. And I told him how, the morning routine helped change my life. And this is what I do. I said, ever since I've done it, man, I feel a lot better. I was like, if I'm going to traffic and somebody flicks me off, I don't even care. I mean, that's their problem. I was like, and then I also explained to him I have this I have this affirmation or it's not affirmation, sorry. And I always mess up on the devotional. I have a devotional book by my nightstand that every day you flip it over and you flip over the thing and it tells you like a little message and then the scripture where it came from. Right. And I was like, I've been using that every single day. And sometimes when I look at it, it hits the nail on the head of exactly what it's just talking to me. And I was like, matter of fact, let me send that to you. I was like, what's your address? She was like, oh, you ain't gonna do that. I'm like, no, bro. Let me send it to you. So I got his address right there on the phone. Went on Amazon, I sent it to him. We had a conversation for a while, and I was just talking to him about, my life and things that, changed for me and like, cause he knows my past. And so for him, it's like, well, damn, like, he knows where I came from. He knows what I've been through. And to see where I'm at now, and he's like, man, I'm proud of you, bro. Like you doing your thing, like it's crazy, but it seems obtainable to him because he knows. So then I get a call maybe about a month and a half later, and it's him. And I was like, man, what's going on? He was like, man, I just figured I'd give you a call today to say what's up because you told me that you do this thing and that you be calling people and saying what's up to them. How many people call you to say what's up? And I was like, dang. I said, not that many, bro. And he's like, man, I've been reading that devotional every single day, man. I just want to say I thank you. I really appreciate that, man. You said a lot of powerful things that day that really just helped uplifted me. And he was like, and he goes, and I want to say something to you, bro. He was like, that day when you called me, he was like, I think about it makes me think about this scripture in the Bible when it talked about the guy that was in the water and was asking for God to save him. And the boat came and he said, no, I'm waiting on God. Then the next boat came and said, no, I'm waiting on God. Then the next boat came and said, no, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm waiting on God. And then he said, God, why you left me here? And he's like, I sent you 3 boats. He said, when you called that day, I felt like you was the boat that God sent. He goes, because I was contemplating suicide. And he said, and I really feel like if it wasn't for that call, that I might have did it. You never know, right? When I could have skipped the call, maybe that was God and me saying, don't skip that call. I need you for something. I need you for something. Don't skip that call. And that's what happened. So now when I look at DTD2, I ain't skipping nobody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't skipping nobody. So now after doing the DTD2, typically, I'm looking to have healthy conversations with people and establish maybe appointments of when I can talk to them again or maybe get with them. But my job as a real estate agent is to negotiate contracts, close deals, talk to people, set appointments, and get them to the closing table, right? So these are my top 20% activities because when I got appointments, I have this time right here where I might prospect for off-market properties to see what off-market properties are there, what other wholesalers or investors might be looking for something, if I could fill a need for them. Or I might go to jump and just make some calls that I need to make or whatever it is, right? But I have the prospect for off-market properties to start off with. Then my fifth protocol is looking to see if there's any tasks that are left over that I need to do for my business. Anything that, something that I've been planning on doing, a task that I might have left from the past I didn't complete, and I check that out. Then I leave 2 to 4 open on my calendar every single day. My business is very low overhead, where I don't like to spend much money on anything because I just don't have to, right? All the stuff that I use is free. You see this, and I'm gonna get to show you guys this as well. But this right here is just on Google Calendar where you can set appointments. Mine is set to be a repeating event, Monday through Friday, with 2 to 4 and 30-minute slots. That way, whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody, they're like, "Well, when are you available?" I already can say, "Well, it's gonna be probably sometime between 2 and 4. Let me see what day." then I can just right from there, right from my calendar, on my phone, I can send them a message. I can share the link, and they can pick a time to have a conversation between 2 and 4 at a 30-minute slot. Now, if it needs to be longer, okay, it can be, right? But we'll start off there, and I'll just put a note that this is going to be an hour call. But it's 30-minute slots, 2 to 4. No question. They already know. So this is what this schedule here is. As I know, to some people I say, don't this look simple? They're like, nah, this doesn't look simple. But to me, it's pretty simple because it's just honestly just a few things that I'm doing. And I've been doing it consistently every day for such a long time that that's why my business has been able to result from it. So this right here, as you can see, it protects, boundaries, prevents me from having burnouts. The schedule is Monday through Friday. However, not every single day can I run the schedule perfect. It's just I have a guideline to run my schedule perfect. Things happen in real estate. Like today, I can't do this schedule, right? Because I had certain things going on. When I leave here, I got other things that I have to do that are not going to allow me to do the schedule. But what I can do is this: when I get in the car, and I'm gonna show you what this green box does, I can tap on this green box and I can go make some calls just off of this. How did I come up with the top 20% activities? Go ahead. Yes, DTD2 stands for do the database too. And Keller Williams, we have this thing where I should say he was with Keller Williams a long time ago, right? Or you was with Keller Williams a long time ago. So they have this schedule, right? It's a 13. Is it 13 weeks? You guys remember? It's like every 13 weeks, right? And it gives you 2 letters, and then it gives you 1 letter for text message. And they say, so basically, this week the letter's D and O. So you said what? And the text is M is L. Okay, so what that is everybody in your database that either and you can do it how you want to. Either the last name starts with the D and O, or if you want to do first name starts with D and O. You put them all in one place, or just go through your phone, and that's who you're calling for the day, for the week. That's who you're calling, and you're not skipping nobody. You start with the first letter D, and you're going all the way through the D's. Do not skip nobody. That way, it's allowing you to keep in touch with your database, make sure you're not missing anybody, and it's a way for you to figure out who you're going to call. Because the hardest thing is to like, well, who am I going to make phone calls to? Well, just go to your database, because database is typically where the highest percentage of business comes from for real estate agents. Is the database they already have, and then the other job outside of that is going to build the database, right? Going to find more people to add to the database, because the goal is have the database and build a system behind it to nourish the database, right? So whenever I am going out and getting leads and talking to people, when I add them to my CRM, which for us is command, what I'm doing is I have to create systems behind it now to automate the nourishing these people. That's why I do the smart plans, because it's going to automatically send them stuff when I don't got to do nothing. It's one click of a button. I just literally put them in and drag them over to whatever smart plan I created, and it's going to send them all the stuff that I need. It'll send me on my calendar when you see these, because my task is when I have to call them back, and my assistant goes and puts it on my calendar of what my calls are for the day. So it means everybody in this box, more than likely, I talked to them 90 days ago. And I said 90 days is the minimum. But if I got to call them in 2 days or 3 days, then I'll put that on my calendar, but I still put the 90 days because that's their quarterly call or that's their quarterly text. How I came up with the top 20% activities in my business. What happened was I had to have clarity, right? Now for me to get this clarity, I had to I started with GPS, which GPS is the directions. Like we have GPS on our phone, is directions to get to where I'm trying to go. I had to identify how much money I wanted to make in my, typically how it goes, how much money I want to make in my business. Then I do the mathematical equation of what that equals to in units based on the average sales price, or my average sales price. And that's how I come up with that number. Then the GPS stands for goals, priority, and strategies. I have my goal. Now I have priorities, which is going to be 3 priorities that I'm going to be getting my business from. I've been doing my GPS with my cousin Josie Ambrosi for about 3 years now. Ever since I've done it with her, my stuff's gone through the roof because she don't play no games about me doing this GPS. I can't do no vague, broad um, strategies or priorities. It has to be quantized to where there has to be a time behind it and it has to be exact. So closing 36 deals from my database, right? Like she'll typically be, okay, 36 deals in your database. Then I got to go to the strategies. How am I going to accomplish doing that? So that's gonna be okay. 1 hour of DTD2 every day at least. Now during my DTD2, what am I gonna do to accomplish that? I'm gonna time block to do that. I'm gonna do notes, tasks, TNS, like I explained to you guys to do that. And I'm gonna make sure I got 25 healthy contacts every single week, right? So that means I only gotta make 5 phone calls a day, right? Now that you're good, that's me. Now five healthy contracts. Another way of me doing that is I'm doing my 555 to be able to get people to talk to as well, right? And if you do 25 contacts a week, 5 people every single day for 5 days, my 555 helps me get to that goal of 25 healthy contacts a week. Engage in private Facebook groups. I'm gonna talk about that. Well, I mean, 5 posts per week, 1 monthly giveaway. Now you see how there's open tactics in here. It don't all have to be filled out. If I don't have anything, I'm gonna make something up. It's something I'm gonna do, right? Then like identifying the top 400 contacts in my database by the end of Q2. So I have to put times behind it because I have to make SMART goals. You guys know what SMART goals are? It's an acronym. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what the acronym is, but it's like yes. There you go. So she has me do SMART goals. It has to have all those when I put a goal in there. So now I'm going to share her QR code because she has a company called the Real Estate Operations Institute. My cousin is the operational manager for a mega team out in Connecticut, right? And she handles all of their stuff. She's the operational manager. They do 20 plus whatever every single year and volume. And her Real Estate Operation Institute school is like I think it's like $12 a month, but it's templates, systems, processes that are actually successful. That's been used that they use. She helps people with like putting together Facebook groups, community events, micro events, whatever templates that they have. She's sharing this with her Real Estate Operation Institute. So she's helped me with my 401 and my GPS. So I have the 401. I don't have the 401. I got to do the GPS first because once I take the stuff from the GPS, all these things here, now I'm going to break it down to an action sheet, the 401. That's 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. So I have my goal for the year. My goal for the year, I break that down by 12. In order for me to get that, I need this many transactions closed per month. And then I need in order to do that, I need this many listing appointments every month. I mean, this many buyer appointments every month. This many paid advertisements that I'm doing every single month to get to this goal. Now I'm gonna take this goal, I'm gonna break it down by the weeks. Why do I break it down by the weeks? Is because becomes the accountability. For me, how 401 works is this. If you still gotta do 25 updated contacts this week, if I only do 20, then on week 2, it's 30 contacts. If I don't hit that, then it's going to be 55 contacts, whatever, on this. So what happens is, as you're seeing that, as you're seeing you moving it, if it's not happening, then you're like, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. It's holding you accountable. The best way to do it is to have an accountability partner that's doing it as well. You guys meet up 1 time a week, and it's literally a 2-minute conversation. Here's my 401. Did you do it? No. Why? Because of this. Did you do it? Yes. Great job. That's it. Because you know that when you got to go see that person, you're gonna have to tell them whether you did it or not, and you're gonna come up with a reason. And after a while, you got to make a decision: either take some stuff off of it, or move some stuff around, or you're not serious about what you're doing. So this becomes the accountability. Now, what I didn't even realize until matter of fact, it was James Shaw who pointed it out to me when I was doing a presentation, or I think I might have did the win the day on a panel or whatever for him or something like that, right? And he was like, "Oh, so you don't have to look at your." And I told him I don't look at my phone on my GPS. After I do it, I don't look at it no more. for the whole year. Here's the reason why I don't look at it, because my 401 is on my calendar. The activities for me to get this and this is on my calendar. All I gotta do is look at my calendar every day. And if I'm following my calendar, I'm going to accomplish these things. So the DTD2 these days, how we use it is I am I use it to strengthen up my contacts that I have. And unless it's somebody that's not in there, and I'm putting them in there, and I'll be strengthening that up. But these days, I'm just using it to really strengthen up my contracts. I'm having my contacts. I'm having conversations with people to learn more about them, because the more that I know about them, the more it allows me to pour into them and be of value to them. Right? When I call people, they're not. Some people know that I'm doing DTD2, right? Because that's just what I need to see that conversation. Think about this. Don't worry about it. So if you ask me, if you call them first, you up. You feel me? Like, don't be like, oh man, you ain't called me. Well, you ain't called me either. You know what I'm saying? Now it's different if they called you, you say answer their phone, you gotta call them. That's different. But they ain't called you. You calling them. You saying what's up. You checking on them. You seeing how they doing. Right? So that's what we use this for. Whenever business happens for me, it's hardly am I calling and something comes from it. And it does happen though. But there was a point in time when we were doing real estate, especially when the interest rates were really low, that you can call somebody, find out that they're renting, and then you can hit them with the line like, "Oh, I can get you a house cheaper than what you're paying in rent." That's easy, right? These days, you ain't tricking nobody into buying real estate. If they buying real estate, they already was thinking about buying real estate. Either you happen to be the person who called during that time, because you might get the man so crazy you called. Me and my wife was actually talking last night about we think that we might be time to sell this house, and you happen to be that person there. And hopefully you was already that person, because the things that you set up in your business to where they were going to call you anyway when that time came, and you just happened to beat them to it, right? But my business happens when my phone rings. My phone rings and people say, I got a house I need to list. I got a cousin who needs to sell. My grandmother passed away. We want to sell this house in our state. That's how my business happens. That's a result of me doing calls, doing my DTD2 and my 36 touch. That's where the business comes from. And the reason why I say this is because of this. When having the goals that you're creating, it's a lot easier to continue the process when you have a realistic idea of what the goal actually is. And what I say is, our job still, from the time that somebody is a new agent and a seasoned agent, still your job is to contact people, get their name, first name, last name, their email, their phone number, and add them to a database, and then systematically create a way to nurse them. That's our job, no matter what. That is our job. Whether it's making phone calls, or whether you're going and doing events, or whether you're going to places, you're picking up leads, whatever it is, we're in a contact sport. We have to make contacts. It's just what it is. Period. Go ahead.
Question. So I'm looking at Nick, who you met on the jewelry aisle in aisle 5. So when you meet them, you grab them. You didn't get his last name, but you remembered where you met him. You
Yeah.
put him in your database. You call him the next day, and part of that conversation is to fill out the rest of your CRM for him.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. That's exactly what I do. I will screenshot it, send it to my assistant, and then I'll be able to say, "Hey, what's some screenshots I sent you yesterday? Let me go ahead and get that and start putting that together." Because at first it's just a contact that I have in my phone, and it's not even added to my CRM yet. But if I saved it, we had a conversation that made me have to remember where I met him from, how I met him, and what we talked about, and then order to add him to my database. Yep. Oh damn! Look at that. So then, let's see. All right, now I'm gonna go over. Can I hit play on this? If I hit this button right here, does that play?
One way to find out.
Yeah, it's the video. You might be able, so if you share the presentation, you might be able to just click on it and it'll play. It's gonna go fast, so I'm probably gonna do it twice. Is it over here?
Sound.
I don't need sound. Nah, I'm gonna talk. So, real quick before you do it, remember I told you guys I'm gonna tell you about this green box right here? This green box on my calendar is on my phone right now. I can go to my calendar for the day. I hit that green box. So these are names, right? These are from when I had a conversation clearly with somebody 90 days ago, or this is the task when I need to call them today. I go click on this name. That wasn't right. Hold on. Sorry. I go click on this name. It goes straight to command. When it goes to command, guess what I'm going to see? The notes on the conversation that we have, what we talked about. So when I leave here and I got to go to where I'm going, I can be driving and all I got to do is click on this thing real quick, peep the notes. I know exactly what to say. I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. So now my task on people when I need to call, I know what, when I talked to them last, what we talked about and possibly what I need to say in this conversation. But when I read the notes, I already remember the conversation because I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about this. So it's gonna be a smooth conversation when I call them. I'm gonna reference something that we talked about last time to let them know I was listening to you and I heard you. So now let me show you guys how to do that. Try it. Oh, there you go. All right. You go to your calendar, you create an event. I call mine follow-up calls. I'm gonna do this like 2 or 3 times because it's kind of fast. I pick the time that I like to do mine, which is typically I think like 10:30 to 11:30. Then I go to my notifications like I like them, pick the color that I want for mine. You see the notes in the bottom? That was me dragging and copy and pasting and putting it there. So all I had to do was go to command and highlight this name for the contact. When I highlighted that name for the contact, that was in the notes of the event that I created. All I did was copy and paste it there. So now when it clicks on that link in the description of the event, it's gonna go back to this. It'll show my notes, my tasks, and my smart plan. So I'm gonna go, can we do it again? Go back one more time. So imagine you went into command. You went into command and you highlighted the name in command. Where you see where it says Alma and Ciso? Highlighted that with your cursor. Hit copy. And this is where I'm gonna have to change this one to where it's showing that and make it a lot slower, but it's all good. Say it again. Boom. All right. So after you did that, now you went and you created your follow-up call. My follow-up call is always going to be typically continue. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. All right. So I'm creating the note. That's okay. Hold on. Let me start over. Now the description of the note is where I copy and I pasted that. So now when you open up your calendar, you're going to see how it works. And I'll just be able to go. I click on that name and it's going to open up right to command. And it's going to have the tasks, the notes of what we talked about, which is going to be the most important thing for me when I'm having the conversation. I just need to see what the notes are. When did we talk? What did we talked about? And what I might be saying on the next time. And then I got to make sure they're on a smart plan. If they're not on a smart plan, tell my assistant, make sure you add them to this smart plan or that smart plan. And then put a task for me to call them in 90 days. Or a task for me to call them in 90 days and a task to call them this time because I got to respond to them about this. And those notes will say what I need to talk to them about why I'm calling that day.
So the list that you were showing on your phone, your assistant has already populated that meeting invite with the contacts that you need to call? Or does that happen automatically when command sees that these are the people due for today?
No, my assistant does that. When she creates the task, she's making sure she's going in my calendar and she's putting those dates, putting the time. Yes.
She's putting it one by one.
Yes.
Based off of your smart plan saying these people are up for the next communication?
Yes. So now smart plan will have it if it's a smart plan where it's time for me to make that call. My smart plan typically is based mainly around posts and messages. I mean emails and messages, right? My calls are done typically manually, where the task for the call is on my calendar when I'm making that call. So if so on my smart plan's got to call them on this date or text, excuse me, text them on this date. That specific date is going to be on my calendar. And so I'm just opening up my calendar and I'm looking what I got for the day. Now so I like to streamline a lot of things that I do in my business. So I'm gonna share with you guys, like I use Google Docs. Does anybody have any questions before I move forward on the next one?
From man to put it right there.
Person's name.
The person's name. Just highlighted the name. That's all I did. Run a cursor over it. Hold on. You said I put it in the.
Right, you create events.
I created an event.
And a text. So I'm like,
But my so in my system, so in my system, my task is when I need to talk to them again. But I add the task to my calendar. My calendar, I create an event for that. My event every day I have is follow-up calls. So I have my follow-up calls every day on my calendar, and in the description of it, that's where I'm putting the person's name because that is the day. I mean, that is the day that I'm supposed to be giving them a call based on whatever the task is.
and just their name, putting it there.
Just their name. You got to highlight their name though. Just run the cursor across their name in command, and then copy, paste, and paste it right there, and it pop up right to command. You don't got to do anything with command, but just highlight the name. Then when you create the event on Google Calendar, then you'll paste that name in the description part of your event. But command, you don't have to do anything. You just if you while you're in command, you're having a conversation because you might have it pulled up, and you're like, okay, 90 days. Go in your calendar, figure out what 90 days is, and create follow-up calls. Because typically everybody, and when you create that event, every single person you talk to during that day, at least you know are going to be on that 90-day tread because you talked to them that day. That's created in your Google Calendar. Now you can add, now when you create a task on here, my task doesn't shoot automatically to my calendar.
Calendar, there's tasks as well, which you can create.
I did an event. Yep, I did an event, and the reason why I did the event, well, my assistant did the event, I guess to be able to drop it so it can go straight to that. Now, when I use tasks on my Google Calendar, it's just like it'll be just like a something short, like it might say, pick up my son at 6, and it just has a bubble. And from my understanding, only thing I can do with that is either task completed or whatever it is, right? But the event allows me to do more to where I can go straight to that. So like my task for like I have to go pick up my son at this time, order flowers for my wife, go to the grocery store, whatever. I can put those tasks so like while I'm in front of the computer if I want to, I can just have those tasks open to make sure I'm crossing them out for things I need to do for the day, but not for my follow-up calls.
Because sometimes you may not get to it, you gotta transfer it over.
I got to transfer it over. I got to transfer it over.
Command to know to open command up.
It's a link. It's just a link in the description. I can go drop a Zoom link in the description of an event. Just like, okay, if I send you a calendar invite for we got to meet on Zoom, in there they'll have the Zoom link. And when you click on the link, it goes straight to it. So same, their name is a link. Because in command, it's a link. Yep, when you highlight their name, it's an actual link in command, and it goes straight to it. Yep. Goes right onto their contact. Okay, so I'm going to show, okay, now you can scan this QR code if you want to see how I set up my appointments on my calendar as well. I'll give you guys a couple seconds for that. Oh, you're looking at the thing. Okay. I was like, yo, where's she at? I didn't put her on, I didn't bring her on yet. That's my assistant's voice. So she's going through telling you guys how to set up the appointments, how I do on my calendar. Absolutely. All right. So now let me bring in my assistant, Sam, and she's going to share with you guys a couple things that I use. I don't have to open up my laptop and work to do my job if I don't need to. A lot of the most important things that I need in my business are right here in my phone. because I use Google Docs. I use a lot of spreadsheets and I use Google Docs for everything. So the most common things that I use in my business, I have something called official links for all documents. And when I click on this, this is where I keep this is where this is a system for me. Right? It's a system for me of how I am to manage stuff wherever I'm at. Right. If it's something I need to remember, whatever it may be. So Sam, can you share your screen? Can you hear me, Sam? Yeah, let her share her screen. I don't need to hear her as long as she can hear me, then we're good to go. Or I can just hit her on the phone and just tell her what to go to while she sees it. In fact, let me hit her on the phone right now.
We don't see.
Oh, you gotta click on something over here.
Right, when you selected Sam, did you go to where you set yourself?
Hello.
You just.
Hold on a second. Cyberback is where I started at. And then I waited for hold on. Go ahead. Nah, she don't really need to talk. Hey Sam, can you hear me talking?
Can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. I just wanted to make sure. All right, can you hear me like through the computer?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead and go to the official links for all documents. Okay. You guys know how now they have that stupid little law they put in place, and we got to use pre-listing compensation forms now. So whenever you have a listing, somebody says, "How much compensation are you offering?" Right. So on my Google Doc links, we have all the pre-listing compensations for our listings. So when somebody asks me, all I got to say is send me your email, and I'm about to send it to you. All I got to do is go to that pre-listing compensation form doc, click on whatever address it is. I hit those top three buttons, and I hit send copy. When I hit send copy, I copy and paste their email. It goes right to them. Send a pre-listing compensation form. Because all the listings that we have, it gets too it gets too much trying to figure out where it's at and whatever it is. So this helps me streamline the process. Somebody can call me on the go, I can send it to them. All right, now go to transaction date overview. So whenever I get a property under contract, I send out a congratulations email. We call it a congratulatory email, where it says congratulations, you're under contract. Have all the important dates to the contract: appraisal contingency, finance contingency, earnest money, when's it due, where's the deadlines. I send them all that, and I just tell people just go to your congratulations email if you have any questions on when this is happening. Right. So one, I put these dates on my calendar. I put the due diligence date on my calendar. I put the appraisal and finance contingency on my calendar. When the earnest money is due on my calendar. So when I put my calendar, I see that I know, oh shoot, earnest money due today, and make sure that is taken care of. Also, let Sam know too because she looks at my calendar. But you know how a lot of people on the board have this whole thing in their office. Well, it was only in my office, so I got 6 deals. I type in congratulations. And then I get a lot of emails that say congratulations for whatever it is, advertising, whatever, right? So all I gotta do is go to this. Client calls me, hey, when is that financial contingency? Give me 2 seconds. Transaction date overview. Go to whatever property it is. Scroll over to the right, Sam. Boom. If I don't have the closing attorney's number saved, no problem. I go right here and go get it. If I don't have the agent's number saved yet, no problem. I go right here and go get it. If I don't have the lender's number saved yet, no problem. I know the name and I know the number. It's all gonna be right here. Then whatever special stipulations is in the contract, it's all right here. Slide over, Sam. Then, just to have an extra touch, I have, scroll, keep going. This right here is all the contracts. So all merged, the whole entire contract. I don't have to go to command to go do it. It's all right here. I click on it, I can be like, okay, this is what the contract said. All merged into one. Every time something changes, an amendment's added, it's going to be added right into here. And all I got to do is go to here. If my client say, hey, can you send me that contract real quick? I don't have to go to command mobily to go do it. Or I don't stop somewhere, open my laptop. I go straight to command. I go straight to here. I send it to them. This just makes it easier for me in my business. That's why I use it.
You got that's a blank template?
Here's what I could do. Let me think. Yeah, I can. Sam, email me. a blank template of which one?
Transaction.
The transaction date overview. Email me just a blank template.
And, yeah, there's a form. Yeah, and
I don't know nothing about it.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "What has a form?"
With all the date, what she's asking for, it's in form.
But it has them all listed. Everybody.
You have to list it.
Yeah, you got
You gotta do it. You gotta complete it.
It's by property, right? By each
It's
property.
generic. It's a generic, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, G. I got you, G. All right, look, we're gonna now let's go to something else. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you what to go to. Okay. Um, for my assistant, I have a checklist, right? To where these are the most common things that happen in my buyer, in my business. A listing under contract, a buyer under contract, a new listing, off market properties, under contract that might be off market but not in command. And then I have contracts typically where I'm representing the buyer and the seller on a deal. And so whenever I when I started writing out my process and my systems with my virtual assistant, what I did was I would start off with like, okay, it's under contract. I started writing down what my steps actually were. Like, okay, I do this and I do this and I do that. I give that to her. I let her put it all together. So now whenever I have something like if I get a listing under contract, then she has to send me this checklist within 24 hours. This is holding her accountable and also holding me accountable to make sure things are getting done. So if she sends me something and it's pending, then she has to make sure that it's not pending before she sends it to me if it's something that's in her control. Typically, I get everything and it's all good. The only thing that might be pending is an instructions to closing attorney because we're waiting on the other person to sign it, or F511 because we're waiting on the other person, the other attorney to sign it. But whenever it's done, she sends me the completed checklist. I know we're good. My virtual assistant enters. She handles. She does. When I did 20 transactions in 1 quarter, and I did every single thing, I taught her how to do what I did. Because if I can do every single thing, she can do every single thing. Because I still had to do that and go work in the business and go find more business and do all the stuff that we do. So I showed her how to do all the stuff that I know how to do, and I know that she can do it because I did it. Right. So she she enters listings. She handles all the transactions. She does all my marketing. Right. Then she does answers emails for me, order things for me, orders my photos for my listings. And now when I do my photos for my listings, the only thing that I do is I will go through. I'll have all my photos together, and I'm like, all right, and I'll just be on the phone with her, and I'm like, all right, number 1, number 8, number 10, number 12, number 15, 25. Okay, here's all the photos. She knows the formats that I want. She knows I like it to where I want a couple in the front, and I want everything going from the. So you walk in the house, kitchen, this, bedroom 2, bathroom 2. She knows all this. And then back of the house on the end. You know what I'm saying? Format at the end. So she knows, layout at the end. So she knows that as well. Sam, go to content calendar. So I have a content calendar with my assistant, right? Where I know the importance of having something posted at least every single day. Now, I post things in between. If I got to post something about my family, myself, or whatever it may be, or something pops up. But I know that at least every single day there's something that's going to be posted. A lot of these come from current matters or whatever it is. So she's posting this, she's putting this together. She does it by 2 weeks. So my content calendar only takes me 5 to 10 minutes once every 2 weeks. When she puts this all together, she says content calendar available for the next 2 weeks. Then I got a couple days to look at it. I go look and I'll go, all right, approved, approved, approved. And I'm like, oh, hey, change this caption right here for this one. Or actually, can you take that one out and do something like a motivation or something, right? It's like she knows like I like motivation these days, tips and strategies on these days, something about events that are going on around the city during these days. She knows my format. She puts it all together. And then after I say approved, I'm good for 2 weeks. I don't gotta look at it again. Everything else in the middle is extra.
Post. Are you posting it on all your socials or
Everyone.
one social?
Everyone.
Okay.
She does scheduled posts.
Okay.
So they're all scheduled already for every single one. Instagram, all of my Facebook. If it's a video, then it's going to go on TikTok. I got a video content calendar as well for videos that'll be posted on TikTok, on my reels on Facebook, on my reels on Instagram, and on my stories. All right, Sam, go to um, off market property list. Okay, so I service a lot of investors. Majority of my businesses are investors. I also am an investor. I am a cash buyer. I buy distressed properties, cash, no due diligence, no contingencies. I do 5K non-refundable earnest money. I can close in 7 to 10 days. Whenever I walk through a property, that is my due diligence. I know my numbers. I'm good to go. So look at me as a resource. If you ever come across a client who might have a distressed property, maybe the house is falling apart, there's too much clutter, they don't want to deal with showings, they just want to get a cash deal, I can be a resource to you guys. Just like I had the hedge funds that were a resource to me and I had cash buyers, I'm a cash buyer to you guys as well. And if I'm not interested in the property, I have over 200 cash investors who purchase the same way, that all I do is get the property and send it out to them via email. And if it's something that's worth it, I'm gonna have a response that day or within 24 hours. And when they go and view the property, it's the exact same thing. My requirements for anybody that I deal with that is a cash buyer is whenever I send you a property, get you an appointment, you go look at it, that is your due diligence. We're not accepting an offer unless there's no contingencies, no due diligence, 5K non-refundable earnest money, and for them closing in 14 days or less.
So your business is in Connecticut? No,
I was born in Connecticut.
you were born.
Yeah, but I moved here in 97.
So you've been flipping here in Georgia?
I've been flipping in Georgia since 2023. I only flip in Georgia.
Okay.
I only flip in Georgia. However, I do get properties in other states. Like you tell me what state you're interested in, my acquisition company can go find you properties in the state. You see what I'm saying? You have a client who's looking for something specific. Once we know what that is, my acquisition company can go and target that and go and find properties that match.
So you give us your contact.
It's gonna be on here. Sam don't talk to anybody that much, really. She'll talk to them. She'll talk to them via text when it comes. I'm about to explain the system here. So now, and I'm saying that to say this. I have also, if you have investors who are looking for off-market properties, you come across an investor, people say, well, I don't even know where to get off-market properties. I have off-market properties. I share with you my off-market properties. You can share with your investors. You don't have to have off-market properties off the rip. Once you start getting into the game of investing and dealing with investors, things will start happening. How I came across this is I just started with one. As I started plugging around, doing things, this is what happened. I'm gonna give you guys a quick tip for those who ever think about dealing with investors and how to find off-market properties. Facebook groups. Go on Facebook. Go to the investor Facebook groups. Look and see what properties they have, even if you're not interested in the property. Somebody says, hey, if you're interested in property, send your email. Put your email in the comments and say, I'm interested, I have a buyer. You don't have to have a buyer. But now these people are gonna start sending you properties. My email is flooded with off-market properties every single day. I get text messages now because of the contacts I built with these people every single day with off-market properties. I send out about 25 to 35 off-market properties a week.
Well, I have a guy, but he doesn't want to pay cash. He still wants to finance.
Yeah, you can use a hard money loan. Yeah, you use hard money loan. Yeah, yeah. He can use a hard money loan. It don't have to be cash, but it has to be hard money because there's no contingencies in it at all, right? And so, go ahead. I would prefer you didn't send somebody to me. You worked it yourself. I could take the money all day long, right? But it doesn't make sense if you're gonna be doing this. You should want to build on that client and build more and build more. Now, here's how the conversation works. I charge $5,000 for every single off-market property that somebody wants to purchase. So if somebody sends me an offer at $150,000, then either they're going to pay me a $5,000 fee, or I'm going to go back to my seller at $5,000 less to cover my fee because they're not paying no fee, right? So doing that is when you have a conversation with your client, you have to tell them whatever your fee is going to be. Say, hey, I charge this. This is my service fee for getting this property under contract. You figure out whatever that number is, right? So, but for me, I did $5,000 because that's what made sense for me to be able to do this. So now with this link right here I have is a live link. It's updated every other day, typically Monday through Friday. So whenever I send out properties, I send it via email to my investors, and at the end of the email, they'll say that there's hey, Sam, can you just pull up one of our off-market properties that we sent today? You can just so I can show them what the format looks like.
What's the name of that
group on Facebook, he said to.
Just
I can't really see some names. You're typing like investor, right now. That's
Just me.
another strategy if you don't have investors that I want to tell you guys about is, and I haven't done this because I've already like gotten my way to get a lot of investors. Every day I'm picking up new investors and stuff like that by just being in the game of doing this. However, here is a tip that if I didn't, what I would do if I wanted an investor, I go to the same investment. Obviously, all the people commented their email saying that I'm a cash buyer, I'm looking to buy a property. And I will contact this week. Say, hey, so I saw you on an investor group where I saw you on a group of Facebook saying that you're interested in buying properties. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're looking for? I want to see if I come across anything that might match you and I can bring you properties. Investors typically not lower than one agent.
That's right.
Not lower than one agent, lower to whoever has the deal. So they might buy a deal, they might have their favorite agent, but they can't use their favorite agent. In my investment group, I am the investor, I am the agent typically for all of them. However, they will call somebody on MLS right now and say, hey, if you get it for this price, you can keep the commission. And I'll buy it straight from you. And I ain't tripping about it at all. Because soon as they done flipping that house, it's going straight to me. See what I'm saying? Sometimes they're like, sometimes people give away the money and say, nah, I can't do that for you. You need to call your agent. Then I'll just get a text message with a property address and a price and say, send us an offer for me. I ain't seen the house. This how a lot of the deals go. I don't know why they do that, because I don't get it. They're like, nah, you gotta use an agent. It's like, you can't just do it for me. They know they can't because they do this. They're like, nah, you should get an agent to call me. I'm like, you get that. Let me get that. So we send out offers like that all the time. For me, it's like free money. It's like free money. So at the end of my emails, it says this: for any questions or availability or access information, when I send out off-market property, contact this number right here, which is my assistant. What my assistant does is she reaches out, figure out the property is still available. Then, if it is, she'll get you an appointment. When she gets you an appointment, she'll send me a message and say seller's name, address, price, buyer's name, appointment date, this time. Then they contact her, the issuer, and say, I'm issued at this price. She'll contact the seller and say, hey, this is the price that they're interested in. You guys want to move forward with the deal? They say, yeah, that's what I think. We go, all right, just want to call, make sure, and I want this also ask what the terms are. I think looking good, call the seller to make sure we're good. Then I call the buyer to make sure we good. And then put the deal together however it needs to be done.
I cannot see that number, so
Well, how about this? Whenever
I write it down.
what you want to do is this. Once you get my contact information, if you're interested in off-market properties, send me that. I can add you to the list so you can start receiving the properties, and then this is going to come with it. You saying, because you have nothing to say to her right now if you don't have a property that you're interested in. She don't chit chat. Hey,
Okay.
so
Question. So some of the feedback I got from one of my local investors that, oh, you waste a lot of time with investors, don't have
yes, you will.
a lot of research and things like that. How do you minimize the time waste when you're, talking with an investor?
So check this out. One of the things I can't say, and I will be doing a class on this. I'm just waiting for it. It's another team leader at the market center who wants me to come and teach this investor class, but I'm gonna have other agents come in there because what I can't stand to see is a new agent or agent who never dealt with an investor think that they have a client inside of
No.
I've been through this. I can tell you in 5 seconds of a conversation with somebody if they are an actual buyer or they're a wholesaler. I know the terminology to say to get it done quick. I've broken down 4 years of going through this in just a quick 1 minute or less conversation to get to the point. I've actually have a quick text when somebody sends me a property and says, hey, cash buyers looking for properties in Atlanta, looking for realtors. Want to know if you have any properties that you come along and we want to work with you. You need to keep on commission. That's typically a red flag. The reason why, as an investor, we don't have time to sit there and go call agents. And most investors have another job and they just got some money that they're trying to play with. The reason why they got some money trying to play with because they're busy at their other job. They don't have time to go there and scroll through calling agents. So somebody's calling, it's usually a bird dog, somebody works for a company, and they're looking to see if you guys got any properties because they know you guys deal with people all the time, so they can get it under contract with you and go wholesale to somebody else.
Yeah.
Here's what, and I'm going to answer your question, all of it, right? But before I get to the next part of your question, I'm going to answer for you. Here's one thing how I deal with it. I tell that person, hey,
I know that you work for a company and you're making calls on the behalf. I'm an investor. I'm a cash buyer. I'm looking for properties. Have your boss call me. Now that person calls me, hey, one of my people representing you calls like, yeah, bro, I'm a cash buyer. I know you guys get for properties. So that means you guys are making these calls all the time. I know you guys have inventory. Let me tell you a little bit about my business and what I do. I service this many investors. All my contracts are now in front of more earnest money, no diligence, no contingencies. And if it's something that I like, I'll buy it. But if not, I can just send it to my clients. I don't market it online. Send it straight to email. And if they like it, I have an offer for the 24, 40 hours. And you add media buy this. And now I'm getting properties. So what happens is, every time I go to a room, I ask people, hey, how many times you get those calls? Somebody call you right now and say, hey, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? How many of y'all get those calls?
A lot.
And typically, what do? Either hang up in their face? That sounds bad to me, right? So I look at it as like, I appreciate the 5,000, I appreciate the 5,000, I appreciate the 5,000. Because when they call me, I'm going 3 deep. And I'm like, no, that's not my address. However, just and then I go to that spiel. Now, I don't waste your time with investors is when I deal with investors, I do not go through ARPs for investors. I actually prefer to only work with seasoned investors. If it's not a seasoned investor and they need me to help them to hold their hand, that is a whole different program. That is a mentorship. I charge 20,000 for a mentorship. When I talk to people, I let them know that's a different service. I can be your real estate agent and I can help you. However, what happens is you get these investors to say, hey, can you give an ARV these 5 properties? And then tomorrow, hey, can you give an ARV these 5 properties? Even with my list. Let's send me a message, but hey, what's the ARV these 5? I'm not running ARV for you. You need to go run your own ARV. And there's a couple reasons for that. I go run 5 ARVs, nobody buy nothing.
Right.
I spent 20 minutes a piece on these. I've been there, I've done it before. I know what it's like. Why are we going to ARVs you ain't buying nothing? Here's another thing. Responsibility. If I sell you an ARV on a property, I'm looking at comps based on what I see. New roof, new HVAC, new doors, new door hinges, new countertops, new bathroom, everything flipped, right? You go in there and you keep the slack doors in there. You try to salvage the cabinets. It's like you paint the roof, you don't paint it. You force it lopsided. You do a trash job. And then when you go put the house on the market, which you probably gonna try to use sneak, right? And the house gonna sell for what it is. First of all, I'm gonna walk in and say, you can't listen to that price. Because this ain't the ARV I was selling. So what happens is whenever somebody does something wrong, you for somebody to blame.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting business to tell you what the ARV is. Because if you don't do that job right here,
That's right.
you're not getting that money. Do your own ARV. You see what I'm saying? Now, somebody who's a seasoned investor typically don't need you for ARV. But
Yeah.
I work with ARV when they put if my investor group, they're buying houses for sure. They're like, yo, I'm about to put an offer on this house. I'm thinking this much. Can you just confirm what this ARV is? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Because they're not sending me 10 properties to ARV. They're ready to put an offer on something. They just want me to double check before I do it. I can do that. But don't get caught spinning your wheels for investors, because they will use you as much as you let them. As much as you let them, they will use you for sure. And then don't get caught dealing with people who are not really investors, but they're acting like they are. They're really wholesalers, and that is so heartbreaking. When that first deal comes to the table and they tell you for the offer, they talk about $100 earnest money, $500 earnest money, contract assignable. You see what I'm saying? My clients look for end buyers. I can't have you mess up my reputation. If you're not an end buyer, we can't do this. You need your deal. What you need 10-day due diligence for?
Yeah.
You a cash buyer. You an investor. You bought houses. And so I've helped agents several times. One of the last agents that I helped, which was a couple weeks ago, and she was like, because I gave her my quick text of what I sent them. My quick text basically just in a nice way tells them, and we look at end buyers. I ain't doing the wholesalers. I wholesale myself. So I don't need to wholesale. I don't need you to wholesale nothing. If I'm a wholesale, I'm a wholesaler. And I'm looking for end buyers. It's important that we have clarity. And what's your exit strategy? If you wholesale, that's cool. I work with wholesalers. But I'm never going to give you a property that you're going to put in a contract and then go find a buyer.
Right.
That's never going to happen. You can come to me now. You come to me with a buyer that you found, because I work with wholesalers like that. I sell a property. I know they're wholesaling. We have this conversation, got clarity, and they go get their buyers. They got their list. They bring it to the property. They come up with a number. They got their piece on it. I got my piece on it, and we're good.
However, nothing to go in the contract and find nobody. So I have to make sure that I'm able to keep that communication clean. What I did with the other agent was I told her, she's like, yeah, we buying. You go outside. Let me talk to her. They said that one of your associates just want to have a quick conversation. He has some properties too. I said, hey Sherry, what's the last property you bought? Right? I'm on public records. What house we flipped it? I said, what's the name? What's the address you telling me the what said the name of your company is?
It's nothing.
Ain't on it. Now he could wholesale it and he could double close it. If he double closed it, I'm gonna see that too. Right? I'll see that. I said, okay, send me another one. Hey man, your name isn't on any of this. Who's Mario Esteban? Your name isn't on any of this. So this tells me you're not buying properties. You're wholesaling property, bro. You might have brought that person there, but that ain't your company. Somebody who's buying houses, no problem saying that. Man, go look up my LLC. You're gonna see the names that we got on there. You're gonna see the products we bought. So that's the way to vet somebody if you're unsure. Send the last property that you bought. Let me get the address again. And go look at them public records. And you can see that.
Are you a member of Georgia RIA?
No.
No?
Okay. I'm not. I heard about it though.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard about it. No, I'm not a member of them. Let's go to I'm part of D&K Investment Group, right? D&K Investment Group, and I just started doing and I'm gonna say this really quick because I know people are like, oh, you're anything on there. I'm not looking to do the mentorship at this time, but I am mentoring an agent right now on flipping a house. But as I'm going through the process, I don't know if it's something I want to continue to do. I'd rather just do that and get my mentor in it. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, it took me 2 years to even come to that decision. I got like 10 people, 15 people lined up wanting me to mentor them, ready with the money. That's 20,000 a pop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We're closing on Friday, and I'm gonna see how the rest of this goes. Decide if I want to continue to mentor on how to flip the houses. I figure using a real estate agent would be the easiest way because I got people who are not real estate agents, and it's not as simple as it thought. You know, it's just the time consuming thing. Like I said, I don't let anything compromise my nights and my weekend. Right? And I don't put no dollar amount over time that I can spend with my family. I'm not losing any time with my family because she knows how I get down. She respects it to the core. But I don't know if the value of what I'm getting as far as if the money's going to be able to make up for it. But I'm still organizing it and putting it together. But I also got to be able to love it. I love helping people. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm going to see how this goes. If I'm going to continue to do it, she might be my only mentee. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe that's the capacity that I have. Right? The other people I have lined up, I told them I'm not going to do anything yet because I want to focus on getting one person in the door once I got them on the contract and then got started the project. Then I will go to the next person. I'm just not thinking that I maybe want to handle multiple people and do that. You know, I might just have her, let her do her thing, let her get locked and let it be all good to go. And maybe when everything's done, maybe I'll love somebody else. I'm not sure. I'm undecided.
Question.
Yes.
So trying to build this base of people that can rely on and things like that. And I find that some of the skills are hard to identify, like a general contractor. How do you identify that a general contractor knows their shit, knows their stuff, and it's not just giving you fluff? Like, you know, it's like a social media check, or I know it's probably like
go and use someone that your friend used, that they're reliable, that can vouch for.
word of mouth.
That's the easiest way. Somebody that you know and you trust, and they did some work for them. That's what I would recommend that you use. Because I was afforded the opportunity to use contractors that were all from my mentor, that were already in the group, already locked in. But trying to go find other contractors to use is always a gamble for me. And I'm like, bro, I'll let this fool do this house and he play with me. We'll have real estate license no more. And so it ain't working for me. I just keep what I got going on, keep it going. I don't do business with my friends. They don't come and stuff. I don't do business with them. And I tell them, usually I don't do business with you, bro. So I get the price for so low. I respect your business. If you have a business, I want to be a patron of your business. I'm not coming for discount. I want support. I don't need no discount. Let me support your business. Cause I don't feel like that's what friends do.
Mm.
If you really support me then.
Alright.
So I'm not going to,
Right.
I'm not trying to hassle with their price. And I know why my people can do the price for so low, because they're doing the volume with it. They might not be able to charge us, so I don't even mess with them. I leave them at that. Then I also never worry about if something happened, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be friends no more.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? So I just leave with my contractors, and my friends will be still kicking. So that's how I rock with it.
Go for it.
All right, so I think maybe one more to show, then I'm about to wrap it up. Whenever I do these properties, I have no idea, because we get so many now, I have no idea where it comes from. So I have, if Sam's gone from 9 to 5 is when Sam works, Monday through Friday. If Sam is gone and somebody calls me about a property and I need to know who to call, I have a whole list of exactly where the property is, based on the property, who's the source and the number and what's the price. So I can do that with Sam's not there. Go ahead, Sam.
These are the properties you have in motion right now?
Huh?
These are the properties you have in motion right now?
I want to have a motion right now. Sam, go to the properties we have right now. Yeah, those. This is what I got right now.
Mhm.
All off market. Go back to the content. Go back to the official link for all documents. Just scroll through the bottom. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. And that's pretty much it. So let me go now. There we go. What's the? What am I flipping to?
Question.
Yep.
Princeton, we need to.
But how do I go back to the presentation? Go back to presentation mode.
You're valuable too.
Okay. That's my information. Yeah, I'm gonna get that down. If you guys want to talk about anything that I mentioned today, I'm available typically between 2 and 4.
Real talk.
Yeah, and I'll share the link and figure out what day you guys want to have a conversation. Is there any questions based on anything I said that you guys have?
Yeah, read that enough. Good.
I have a property available at 133 Buchanan. It's about 2 miles from the Beltline. It's available right now.
Is it the Trents?
Yes, it is.
Is it-
It's on the market right now. We are looking to sell. Yes, sir. It's MRC2. You know, where it can go either residential or commercial.
Mm-hmm. So, know this, I'm the one to call before you go to the market.
Mhm.
The reason why is this: if I'm not interested in the property, my clients who are buying properties are only buying it off market.
Oh,
If it was on the market and they were interested, they would have already contacted you.
oh.
They don't need me for that.
Mhm.
They still will go through and look at properties on the market. They still go to Zillow and stuff. But if it's on the market, they'll go straight to you. They don't need me.
Mhm.
I only value the one that's off market.
Oh.
Okay.
I said one thing.
I ain't had no bites though. And when you sent to me,
No, I just sent it today. I said,
that was
to receive it around 2.
I came around today.
I can't see that. I can't see that, it's too small.
Why is that? Why do investors want the property before it hit the market?
Better price.
It's typically a better price.
Oh,
Yeah, it's typically a better price. That's for the most part. But like my investors don't like my investment group. They don't care if you have it on the market if I brought it to them first, but typically it's a better price before it hits the market. And it's not houses that do go on the market. If it's a decent price, oh, it's going to be inflated because all these people are coming out there and now they're raising the price. See what I'm saying?
Right.
If they don't want that, if they work.
Yeah.
Put it in that market.
It's going to go.
The more exposure, the more people want it, the higher its price goes. If I'm the only person know about this, then I can get it from you for less. But if it's 20 of us looking at the same thing,
Yep.
then somebody's like, it's like,
And if I buy it, that means I'm the last sucker. I'm the last sucker, and that's what happened. So I actually have an investor where, you know, I bought properties from them before, right? But now they, the last couple times I went to properties that they had to go do a walkthrough, there's 100 people out there. When I say 100, it looked like an open house from 2020.
Wow.
Some of the whole block, all the way down, all cars. And then I went to another one. There were like 50 people. While I'm there, I didn't even share it with nobody because I'm going with my mentor. My mentee. My mentor was there. My contractor was there. Some other homeboys that I know just in the investment world, they out there too. Right? And then a whole bunch of people. The investor called, he called me last time I answered the phone. So I finally answered the phone. I said, hey, bro, can I ask what you, bro? I'm really probably not interested in your properties anymore. I was like, unless I can get priority and just give me a small group where I can see the house for everybody else, I'm not interested in going to your property with 50 other people because by the time I'm gonna put an offering, you want to tell me this, and I'm not going to be the last sucker to buy this house. If 50 people pass on it, when I know some of these know what they're doing, why would I buy it? Must be something I'm missing. And I said, if I can't be priority on that list, then bro, we probably take up the business together, man. It just don't make sense for what I got going on. No offense to you, I love what you're doing. Keep it on. But for my strategy and how we do things, we're looking for more type of relationship where we can be first one there, because we know our values of where we're coming.
And is there a like a formula that you go by opposed to you looking at comps prior to putting it on the market? And you know the seller has told you that they want. I think what are the chances that they would get near what they want if they take your online?
So what I tell clients when they say, hey, I'm interested in either maybe putting it online to get this price, I'm interested to put it on what I would probably get from a cash offer. I wouldn't list these, I wouldn't do it like this because I let them know what they're probably gonna get online. I mean, they put it on the market, not on the market with the cash investor. That's 75% of the ARV minus repairs and holding costs. I actually have an investment calculator that I created. I just haven't put it into app format yet. She's still on my Google AI Studios that I use on my phone where I go type in the ARV and I type in the repair and it tells me don't pay more than this. It confuses the number on that. So for me, I usually, if I'm looking at a property, I start off at if it's about 350 or less, 300 and less is like the ARV. I want to be $120,000 away from what I'm purchasing from and what what the ARV is and what I'm buying it from. That is just a rule of thumb for me to even step out for the most part. The reason why is because now that number is going to change, but it lets me know there's some money to be made on the deal. It used to be 100,000, but then it changed as folks ask for closing costs. Now people are not paying too much about the asset price. So now I know at 120,000 between the purchase, and that's the average we have of anywhere between 50 and 60 some $1,000. I'm going to make money on that deal. So that's how I look at it. But I want to analyze the deal real quick. So I know the ARV is 75% of that, minus whatever. And I'll put an average usually is 50 or 60. And then I might add like a $6,000, $7,000 to that number, holding costs and contingencies. And that's around the price that we'll see at.
Can I come up there and take a picture of that?
Go ahead.
All right, you all, you gonna get right here. That was so good. So somebody brave enough, raise your hand to tell me what are you going to implement in your business today? Who's brave enough? I just need one person to tell me what are you going to implement today?
555.
555. What is that?
Oh, doing my 5 comments, 5 likes, and 5 personal messages, but also trying to figure out how to set up the content to be scheduled. Is that a camera?
It's good.
So I'll say this. My assistant just started doing this I had to start doing it for another agent. She does their monthly newsletter, about newsletter in the content calendar, and it's charged $100 a month. And it's the same exactly. And she said you got to do a conversation and say what are you looking to post? Like what kind of things you want to post? Like where you at with it? And she will write that thing out where you can set it up and get it. Everything else she posted, she's been posting already. Just that's in between, you know. Yep.
Are you with KW?
No.
Okay. I was about to say, for those of us who are with KW, because of command, you can go to Scott LeBron Marketing on YouTube and you can put in how to set up a smart plan campaign. So that way you'll go ahead and do it yourself.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
What's on?
Oh, it's 246-4280. That's my number right there. We'll have a conversation before I pass it back. Yep.
All right, who else? Anybody else? We got one more? There you go.
Calendar. I like the way that he link combines with the calendar.
Yes.
That's very useful.
I love
I
it.
think it's gonna save more time.
Yes.
That's good. That's real good. I like that.
I like to start of the day.
Yeah.
You get yourself together, your positive vibes, you can do it. But you gotta feed yourself some positive stuff and then you can tackle this stuff. And I like what he said about his son. You gotta believe what you're doing, that you can do it. And then, like he said, the affirmation in regards. So I'm gonna get the bias today.
Yeah.
Even if I have obstacles, I'm gonna get them. And it may pass over to the next day, but you just reassure yourself every day. And it's coming. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I double down on that. I really like the way he condensed his calendar with your smart plan and you just see it from their phone because, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I might not see that last, might not see this last time.
Kimberly.
Right, just talk to from beginning to end systems. You ain't saying that, but I stick with what you, how you done systems, like how important system.
Yeah.
Through your Google Docs and all of that.
A system is not something in this whole fancy thing. What I just showed you is a system. A system is just something that you do, that you're doing every single day. You just find a way to automate a little bit to come a little faster by your time. That's a system. My Google Docs is a system.
And I love how you say documented the process and then you put it into play. Now you just follow it, right? See,
I think I mentioned item that I am going to the next bowl. I don't even know what it is.
let's go. Yes, oh, it is amazing. It's transformative.
And the notes, I had already dipped into that, but the notes that you were saying.
We have a conversation with people.
Yes.
Having notes on what's shot about.
Yes, yes.
Let's go.
And don't be afraid to in your head, if you feel like somebody's calling you, got to,
Yeah.
when you set up how you're gonna run your business, you stick to that.
Yeah.
Because people respect you when you have things in place.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And you said something from the back. He was like, don't be afraid to call anybody because they haven't called you either.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with this lady yesterday, you all for like 15 minutes trying to figure out how we know each other.
Yes.
I had her picture saved in my phone. Tell me why this was over 10 years ago. That lady said, it's been 10 years since I've spoken to you. She said so much life happened, but I'm glad I did because that's what she wants to buy out. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
You have one thing to say.
This just reminds me, all the time. Okay, first I'll move on to take back. I used to be with Keller Williams.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your name, by the way?
Vicky, my name is Vicky Armstrong Johnston. Thank you so much. You're on to. I was in the Stockbridge office and then KW Midtown Commercial. But then I got married to this wonderful man. It's been almost 5 years now. So of course I moved over to his business as a second generation real estate firm, been in business for how many years ago did we start? 45 years. Okay, so just 4 years. I got licensed same year you did though. So this is so motivating for me.
Yeah.
And I always say, baby, they have free classes at open classes that come with us on Wednesday. I came to the one yesterday in Tucker. And I was late. This was traffic and I didn't get the call to the morning. But it was so good that I said, are you doing this again anywhere so I can come get it from the beginning? And it just so happened that somebody from this office texted him while we were talking. He's like, I think I'm being Conyers tomorrow. So I told my husband that here we are. But I thought this was so valuable. And I'm so glad you still have the open door. But the forward method, it just stuck with me.
And that's recreation dreams.
Yes, yes. And then being able to kind of the real estate piece by just kind of mentioning, oh, yes, working on this contract. Because I think that the people who do that travel business, I think that's what they be doing. Every time I talk to one and they say, I'm about to hop on a Zoom, and it was so much. I said, that must be one of their strategies because it sounded almost fake. But the way that you said, you just kind of mentioned something about real estate, it puts it back on their mind without just saying, are you trying to buy or sell? Yeah, so I'm not I'm so appreciative of this valuable thing. Oh, that's sweet.
Right, I got one more question.
Yeah.
You've talked a lot about your system, right? So for those of us who are just getting started, like at what point did you decide to bring an assistant in to help you with all your back ends and just
So how I feel about that is don't get an assistant too early, right? One, know how to do it all. Because if you don't know how to train your assistant. You can't train on something you don't know and tell them to go look at this video when you have no idea about it, right? But when you start closing multiple deals a month, and I'm saying like, you start getting like 4 deals a month, I think it's a good time. But everybody's different. You might have a schedule that doesn't allow you to do what you need to be doing because you're always stuck having to handle this contract. Then that might be time for you to get a transaction coordinator. Maybe not an assistant, right? When things start getting busy and it's not allowing you to expand because you're constantly working in your business and not on your business, then I feel like it's time for you to maybe get an assistant. And I roll my assistant up in a whole bunch of different things. Because again, I'm like, I have to spend money on this, and this. And so that's why my assistant knows how to do the transaction coordinator, the marketing, and all this other stuff like that. Because I rolled her up in that. So just gauge it based on where you see the trajectory of your business going, your quality of life. What would happen if I don't get an assistant, then this would happen blank. If I have an assistant, then I would be able to do this. But not because you're just not going to do it, or you just ain't done it. Like, generally, you tried it, you can't make it happen because of that. So earn the right to be able to do it and have a reason. I'm going to get an assistant. If I get an assistant, then I would be able to do this. If I get a transaction coordinator, then with the time that I buy back, I'd be able to do this. Makes sense.
yeah. Any other questions, Joe? All right, one more hand clap for. We have food in the back, you all. We have drinks in the back. Enjoy yourselves. You all have a very productive day. See you later.
That's what's good. See, that's what's valuable.
So crazy.